Hello, party people. It's me, Lemoni, and happy Wednesday. Today, what I've got cooking for you is a good old fashioned build guide, and it's potentially something I think could fit its way into the healer meta. Do I think it's better than Rapier in situations? Yes. I like running it more in OPR than I do in a war. It has a ton of defensiveness, it has a ton of utility, and it has ways to play it very, very offensively. And I'm going to talk about all that stuff later. But so today, I'm giving you my very, very strong life staff blunderbuss build that I think is going to knock your socks off. Now, before we get started, please keep doing that weird YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, tell everybody you know. I'd appreciate it. And hit the socials down below. If you have any questions about the build or anything else, any content that I've released, please feel free to hit up my Twitch live stream, which I go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 a.m. Central Time, and ask any questions that you may have. So, without further ado, let's get into this. Healing, life staff side. There's a tweak I'd like to make. I'm just going to give my general heal life staff like war and PvP, OPR, what I think heals for the most, what I enjoy using, and it's got a solid mix of blanket with single target. So you have to take Absolved. You just absolutely need it. Blissful Touch, and here's where my first pivot's going to come. We're going to go in Sacred Ground. Biggest healing effectiveness increase you can get. Sacred Ground ticks for so much. Take it, Desperate Speed, Revitalize. Always be left clicking. Comboed with Refreshing Move, you have a ton of CDR. We go Sacred Protection, take Intensify, get your 3 stacks going, keep it going, and then you have the 5% increase healing. Now, here's where we pivot. Is Mending Touch all that worth it? Removing 1 debuff when passing through an ally. If you're going to use it, you're not really going to be heavy attacking all that much through your allies or in general, unless you're being pretty offensive. But then at that point, you're trying to shoot somebody and not really through your allies. And it's only 1 debuff. And by the time you get that through and hit the debuff you want to hit and the way it is and with how clunky it gets, by the time it actually works, you're not really doing anything. Therefore, I take Enchanted Justice because every 2 minutes I can get that little 8% weapon damage heal each second for 6 seconds. You can heal yourself and your allies around you for a little bit of a burst when you get pushed onto, and hopefully it'll keep you topped off. That's just my opinion. I just don't see a lot of value in it in PvP right now. Divine Blessing. We'll take that. Increase healing effectiveness when below 50% health. Synergizes pretty well with things like Desperate Speed. Protector side, I take Bend Light. I take Protector's Touch for the constant fortify. You have 15% fortify on you pretty much all the time. Protector Strength for an increased 10% just flat. You have a buff at all times, so you have 10% more healing. And then I take Light's Embrace. I take Beacon. And here's another little pivot I do. We go Infuse Light to get a 50% larger region. And then we take the 5 seconds longer on Beacon. And then I am not taking Speed of Light. I think it's a great one that you could take if you want to have a little bit more, speed, a little bit of chase. But 20% haste is not that much for the people in the circle. I don't think there's as much value in it. And so what I do, I take Inspire. So 25 stamina when you heal yourself, when you heal an ally. Yeah, you do have to do some healing for it to actually give the stamina. But that 25 stamina that you can give back is mountains better than Speed of Light in my opinion. And so this is my general PvP build that I use for all sorts of healing. You can use it in PvE as well if you're feeling it. But this is the life staff that you know and love. Let's really dive into the blunderbuss. So I'm going to preface this with the blunderbuss has huge potential, but its skill cap is very, very, very high in comparison to something like a Rapier. I think even Rapier, there's an argument for skill cap being higher, just when to riposte, when to dash around, how to move. There's also a lot of defensiveness in the kit, like an unbelievable amount, and that may be due to a slight bug or something intended. I'm not quite sure, but that's another reason why it really shines, and without that, it's not as great. So, what are we doing here? What are the things we're looking for? Biggest thing, Double Down, and then the abilities, we're going to use Net, Knockdown, and Claw. So, let's get into this. Chaos side's the most important. We have cooldown reduction here, so whenever we use an ability, cooldown reduction. Every pellet that hits a headshot, cooldown reduction. You have some opportunities here when you like claw shot, cancel, or if you just have some free time, want to shoot at somebody, go ahead, why not take it? We then take on a roll, trigger an ability, 3% fortify, and I'm going to talk about all the fortifies and defensiveness in a second, but anytime you use an ability, 3% stacks up to 5 times, lasts for 10 seconds. We then have to take buckshot, just because, it's increased damage, but we need this. And then we take artillery, not really all that great, but again, we need it. We take Last Chance. This is fantastic. Again, give me a second. But whenever you take a hit, your health, when you get hit below 50% health, sorry, couldn't talk, you get a 50% damage reduction for 4 seconds. It's on a 30-second cooldown. That is rather short. Honestly, by the time you need it again, it will be up, so you don't really have to worry about it. It's like a pseudo cheat death. Really, really nice. It saved my life plenty of times. We then take Extended Chamber. Why not? Gives you another chance for some cooldown reduction. Then we take Blast Shot, we take the Rend on it, we take the Speed. Speed's not that great, Rend is really nice, but we're really taking Blast Shot for the knockdown, which isn't amazing because if they have Grit up or if they roll and iframe it, they don't get hit by it. But when you do take the slow and they get hit, under those circumstances, when you take that perk for it, you will slow them, right? And it's a 5-second slow, about 20% movement speed reduction, and that's pretty damn good. We'll then take Double Down. Double Down once every 30 seconds when you use an ability, have its cooldown reduced by 50%. Essentially what this does, when I net shot and I hit somebody, I have a second net shot immediately. When I claw, I have another claw in 4 seconds. When I use this, I have another blast shot in like 5 seconds, right? It basically just refunds that entirely. And why does that work the way that it does? I have a full refreshing build on, so it's taking that 50% cooldown reduction based on the max cooldown of that ability. So like 30 seconds on blast shot, it'll take 15 seconds off no matter what my cooldown is. And then comboed with this, 4% isn't that great. So essentially when we do it, 54% of that cooldown goes down as soon as we use an ability. That is the chaos side. Now again, just remember, fortify stuff we're going to talk about at the end. What else are we taking? Net shot, we're going to go all the way in. Net shot has a lot of potential. One, it's a slow, and it is a 50% degrading slow over 5 seconds. So that's a lot of slow when you start to combo it with blast shot. But two, if the net shot hits a target, we reduce this cooldown by 20%. So like I was saying, when I'm in a full refreshing build, not even like completely full, but I think I have seven or eight pieces. I don't really remember. Maybe 6. But if you hit them, reduce the cooldown by 20%, and we instantly have another net shot. We also take Barb Netting because our other options just aren't going to be there. There's not really much that's great. Like if you look at Deep Load, we don't want that. Ramp, we don't want damage. This, you have to hit somebody with it, and we're not really shooting at people. Run and Gun you'd think would be good, but the speed boost you get decays over 1 second, so by the time you're done reloading and you're still slow walking, it's gone. And then Fortifying Aggression. We will end up taking that, so I'm just going to put that point in now just because it is a nice Fortify. If we hit somebody with an ability, or just shoot them 10% Fortify. But back to net shot, we can use this if we time it properly to blast ourselves out of grav wells. If we time it properly, right as the 1 second root pops out of an ice shower, we can blast ourselves backwards. We can use it for movement, right? I'll shoot somebody with a net while I'm moving, blast myself backwards. They'll be slow by 50%, and I'll have a second net up right away that I can hit the same target with and just double net. And you do clear some ground. Also, when you get GAIG'd and you're in a grav well and you're showered, boom, as soon as those roots come off, so the 1 second that you're rooted, as soon as that's done, even though you're super slowed and can't move, and you're like pulled in by the grav well, you can blast yourself back with the net shot. You can also shoot through an ice shower. So if there's one in the door, shoot yourself through. You do have to aim behind you and shoot through. You will still have the slow, but you don't get rooted. Other than that, we do take Barb Netting because you can use this when you hit somebody to kind of track them through walls and know where your enemies are that were chasing you just before. Next, we take Claw Shot. Claw Shot's interesting. We'll take this stamina increase, 8 stamina every second for 10 seconds. It's pretty good. And then landing a pellet, even if they're blocked, reduces the cooldown. So, when you get a quick shot off on somebody, you can get it to reset. Now, why do I take Claw? 1, I can claw out of a root, so a grav well or a nice shower. 2, I can claw to friendly entombs. Okay, so if I'm trapped in a root, and I have a friend and I'm like, hey Dan, hit your ice block. I can then claw to his ice block if it's within the 15 meters and get out of things or just for some extra movement. But 3, it is also a root. So where am I going with this? You could shoot somebody with it and pull yourself, but what I do with it, let's say I see somebody get hit by a grav well, or somebody gets hit by an ice shower, or there's a target we're all chasing, or I even did it, a guy who was charging up his fire staff charge and he's about to go. If you shoot the claw and then shoot your actual normal bullet on left click right away, it will cancel the claw shot, but you will hit them with a root. So you can root them from 15 meters away really fast. So we do that, left click right away to cancel. They won't move. They can't do anything. It'll interrupt whatever they were doing. And boom, you're good to go. So again, if they're in a ice shower, they get unrooted and they're about to use their movement ability, quick throw out that claw, shoot them again. You also get the pellet if you hit any of them, get that cooldown reduction. And it's just a really nice way to play a little bit offensively and get a pick. Or you claw up to somebody and then you hit them with net shot, or you hit them with blast shot. Or one of the things I do is if somebody's running at me in a grav well, I'll blast shot and then claw to them on the ground to get out, right? Or just blast shot everybody away and then net out. Or if I blast shot somebody on the ground, they have a 20% slow, I then hit them with the net. And then the net perk also affects stamina regeneration. So you have a 33% stamina regen reduction. And so, you're going to make people gray bar a little bit faster. You're going to make people kind of get out of their tempo, and they are going to be slower than everything. So in general, we have a lot of mobility potential with net shot and getting out of routes. We have claw shot setups offensively, but as well as getting us out of things. And then we have blast shot for ultimately knockdown, slow. People are running up to a gravel. If you time it properly before they hit their iframe, before they get that grit, you can knock them down. But the biggest thing I want to talk about is these fortifies. So fortifying aggression, on a roll, and last chance. Last chance specifically is the best one because, again, 50% damage reduction for 4 seconds is pretty nice. And now some of you might be like, hey, Lemoni, it's when you have your Blunderbuss out. Fun fact, if you weapon swap with any of these fortifies active or last chance active to your life staff, it will stay on. Meaning we can have, let's say we use one ability and get hit to like 50% health or below 50% health. We have a 3%, 13%, so we have 13% fortify with a 50% damage reduction for 4 seconds. Swap to the life staff. By the time we get it swapped, you'll still have 3 to 2 seconds left on that last chance. And that is a much better way to try and get a safety heal off than, sitting there trying to tank shots with our Blunderbuss out because we have 50% reduction out. Now, again, I will say just in general with last chance, that has saved me so many times where I'm stuck in a grav well. I literally can't get out. Spots where I probably would have died with a Rapier, but it is on a 30-second cooldown. But again, like I was saying, by the time you do need it again, it should be up. Where is this kind of in comparison to the Rapier? Rapier has ungodly mobility between evade and flesh. It's just crazy. And riposte, it's different than this because riposte will always make you immune, and then you do have that stun potential and then reset. The more I play with Rapier, the more I'm like, I haven't played with a Rapier in 2 weeks. The more I play with it, the more I'm like, I miss it. But that does not mean you do have to run Rapier, as this does have a lot of meta potential, and I think a lot of you would enjoy it, and I'll be playing it on my live stream. You can check my VODs if you're really, really interested. So let's get into the gearing, attributes, perks, all that stuff that you need to do, and a little bit of gameplay. All right, gamers, let's talk attributes, let's talk gear, let's talk all that good stuff, what perks should you be looking for, all the fun things. So let's start off with attributes. What do I normally do? I pump focus and I go as little as con as possible. I use this build mainly in OPR. Okay, so I think I don't need as much health. You can use it in war, but again, it gets a little dicier. It's a little harder to use. The timings get a little bit more difficult as more grav wells start going into play. More ice showers are available for people to use, and you may end up wanting to go more con. But what do? I pop a bear flank food. I think this is the most cost-effective food that gives us the most bang for our buck. And then we go like this. I play 71 con and then 428 focus when I'm in an OPR. It's that simple. If you want to go up to 100 con, that's the most con I ever go. As far as gearing goes, first thing, helmet. I'm running a full refreshing build. So I'm running revitalizing beacon refreshing. I'm running exhaustive net refreshing. I'm running fortifying refreshing, invigorated refreshing. I need to roll those. And then these also need to get rolled, but accelerating LE refreshing. And so when we're talking about actual gear perks, I'm about to get smacked here. Nope. Exhaustive net shot is super nice. So net shot, when you hit them, not only does it apply a 50% slow, it now also reduces their stamina regen by 34%. Fantastic. It really kind of gets people off their tempo and they gray bar more often. So it's really solid. And then just healing perks in general, and then refreshing. Again, I go refreshing because max cooldown reduction goes off of, or any cooldown reduction goes off of max cooldown. So if I have, all this refreshing stacked on everything, that just means I'm getting significantly more uptime on my abilities, specifically my Blunderbuss. It's really key to run a refreshing build when you're using a Blunderbuss with the 50% cooldown reduction ability. As far as jewelry, I'm running Purify. I do need to get the health refreshing Purify necklace. That's going to be Biss, but Purify is so good right now. Hardy Sacred Ring, and then there's Con on there. And then refreshing Evasion Purifying Toast. Misty Kismet is a pretty solid starter earring if you don't have anything good. Double cooldown, it's not a bad thing. Purifying Toast is kind of garbage. It's just one debuff, but I'd rather have something else. But for now, I'm running it. Woda, if you don't have a Woda, go get one. Diamond in there for more healing. And then I'm running the Blunderbuss. On my Blunderbuss, this is pretty much as good as a Blunderbuss roll you could get. Keen Speed and Crippling Blast are exactly what I was looking for. We want the Crippling Blast to try and knock down people, get that movement speed reduction, no matter what, even if they iframe or not if they iframe, but if they have grid up, that way you still have some kind of peel for yourself. And then if you do crit, extra speed for you. So good things. As far as the gem, I'm running a tier 5 Amber gem because I've tested it and I've told people this. If you have full focus scaling, you will do slightly like 2 DPS more if you have a T5 Amber. There's not really another gem that's going to be super valuable. I suppose you could do like a Malachite or something, but then we don't have any damage scaling. So that's the only reason I'm running the Amber, is because I want to actually do something. As far as gems, I was messing with some things. This isn't the gem setup I use. I'm doing some other things in my Rapier, but we go light and yeah, pop off. That's what I would do for perks, gearing, that kind of stuff, consumables. Have your potions, gem dust, oak fleshes, honing stones, all that stuff. Then we talked about food already, and if you didn't know, you can put on your food, but then you can stack it with a mana regen food. And there you go. All right, gameplay time. Where does the Blunderbuss really excel? Defensiveness and mobility. So here I'm inside an outpost and I realize I should probably be over a Baron. I'm going and there's a little fight outside. As I'm rotating, gonna get shot in the back, and where I use the Blunderbuss the most is double netting. So you'll see I hit the net, it'll instant reset because of all the procs in my refreshing, and I use that for mobility. They get slowed, stand reduction, they won't be able to catch me. So the damage reduction and utility that the Blunderbuss has is unmatched. So here I blast myself back, try to knock some people down, I miss, but I proc my minus 50% health buff, and then I'm good to go and I can keep healing people. It stays on with the life staff, so even when I get hit by fireballs and stuff, I'm still rocking. It is honestly going to save your life more times than you would think. You'll see here, blast myself as much as I can to try and slow people, but ultimately get caught in a grav well, no cooldowns, miss my claw shot, but watch that, 50% damage reduction and I'm still alive. I do hit the slow shot, which does maybe save my life and prevents him from hitting me with that axe to kill me, and then I'm able to heal my teammates. You'll see here, again, the 50% damage reduction is going to save my life from a one-shot combo. Any other weapon, I'm dead. And then I'm able to just swap to the life staff, heal myself back up. That tankiness is just unmatched by any other weapon in the game. And then you can see here's some offensive potential. I do net, so then this allows my team to get up close with the slow. He does fire away, but still they can close the distance. We get a scream off. I did miss my claw, and then I hit another net, knockdown shot, and he's 100% dead. If I was good, I would have hit my claw cancel, rooted him for a second, and boom. And this is the final example in the pit, how you can use your claw actually defensively. So you'll see I'm kind of rolling around. There's a lot of people. I net to get some space, and ultimately I get ice showered like every other human being in the game. I didn't net here, and I opted for the claw. I then had a little bit more in the kit where I could knock down shot, blast myself back, and get the damage reduction after I get followed up by a Gravwell. Again, the defensiveness, the tankiness, the utility it brings. I know I didn't show any claw shot cancels here, but you can play super offensive, you can play super defensive, and you can use it for a ton of different mobility. So now, is it better than the Rapier? I think in some cases, yes. I think it gives you more opportunity. Like I was saying, you can even grapple to friendly ice tombs, but the Rapier's riposte is very, very, very good. Flesh is very, very, very good. Evade is very, very, very good. And it's hard to beat the Rapier, but I think this can definitely break into the competitive meta, and a lot of you could start using this, drop your Rapier since you've been using since December, and keep going with something new. So, as always, I appreciate it. I hope to hear some good things, hear some good thoughts about this build. How are you feeling about it? Let me know in the comments. As always, if you need anything, it is best to DM me on Discord. I will respond to that. But in the meantime, hit the socials down below. I'll be streaming today on Twitch. Again, that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Central Time at 11 a.m. And if you have any questions, drop in, say hi. I hope to see all of you there. But other than that, keep doing the weird YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell everybody know, ring the bell. But as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And thank you to every single one of you beautiful people for being you. Peace.